All right, what up? We're live. Hello,
Woo!
good people. So I want to give all the disclaimers at the top before we even get started. We're gonna talk about like what's been going on in our lives. We didn't have an episode last 2 weeks, so we got a lot to catch up on, and we have not
A
talked to
lot
each other at all.
at all.
So y'all gonna be here for the realisticness of that, but also your girl over here, Kimberly Jackson, trying to get her life together, honey. I am trying to get my life together. I got so much going on right now. So y'all just give us some grace, buckle
Some
up.
grace.
Not really sure where things are going to be headed today, but strap in.
We're
Like it's
here.
always a good
We're here.
time. It's always entertaining. So I want to do a couple things before I do the actual intro and stuff, because
Uh,
today I did share with real like intentionality and stuff.
look
So
out.
I want to make sure that it's also live on my personal page because I
Got
invited like a whole bunch of people.
look at you.
So I'm trying to do the good work
I mean,
of sharing the things, trying to.
promoting and inviting and such.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm hearing myself. Oh God, make it stop. Okay, there it
Echo.
is. Remember that part where I had said I'm trying to get it together.
It's
This
okay.
is this is the part. All right. So that is fixed and we are live. It is now live on my personal page.
Great.
So we're good to go. All right. Some people was
Love
like,
that for
girl, message me when y'all go live so that I could be on there. And y'all, that's a lot of responsibility. I don't know if I'm up for the job.
Oh, you did it though. That's all that counts.
Okay, all right. So let's do the official welcome. What up, y'all? Welcome to So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese. We are two real life cousins. We're here to talk about the stuff that we thought was normal in our lives and in our family, but was actually the family recipe of dysfunction. We're on a mission to unpack it all, share our stories, and help others find their voices when it comes to healing and mental health. We invite you to join us on this journey of self discovery, of laughter, and maybe even a little bit of healing. My name is Kim. And I am actually figuring out what that means these days, which is a new level of enlightenment and journey for me. But today I'm just going to pull up some of the adjectives or some of the words that are bubbling up for me as I'm like going on this journey. And I'll expand on that a little bit later. But I am a creative. I am an intuitive. I am an empath. I am a healer. I am a friend, and friend is not a word that is taken lightly in my world. So when I call someone my friend or I call someone family, that is something that I take really seriously. And because of that, I also strive to be that person, right? I don't like to ask people for things that I'm not willing to do. So that is who I am today.
Well, look at you, chick. Welcome. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful introduction of yourself. And it's so true because you are the best friend that there is to have. And that's bonus family. Um, I am Kalonda of House Jackson, first of her name. There is another one though. Assistant of entrepreneurs, beacon of banter, creator of content, dancer of dreams, and
Mm.
excellence enchantress and New Orleans native. I am
Yes.
yeah, I am also on this journey trying to discover all that I am, and just really enjoying this kind of quiet time and doing it and being intentional about who's in my circle as I move forward because that definitely does impact your trajectory. So,
Mm.
says I.
I love it, y'all. So let's talk about the vibe here, right?
Vibes. It's Cinco de Drinko.
Fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, right? Because I lived in Mexico City. Cinco de Mayo is not a big deal in
Not a thing.
Mexico. It is not a thing. It is a thing in a city called Puebla, which is where Cinco de Mayo came from. It was like one battle or war or something, just in that particular city. But the rest of Mexico, child, today is May 5th. Cinco de Mayo is a U.S. situation. The Mexicans are not turning up today.
They don't
They
care.
are going about their Mexican
It's
business.
Sunday.
And exactly. Like it. So anyway, but there in the US, it is Cinco de
Yes,
Mayo. So
it is. What's in your
that
cup?
part. Right. So having said that, I had mentioned already that this might be a ride, So in my cup, what I have is some tea because I actually stopped drinking alcohol. I
Bless your
actually
heart.
stopped
I
drinking
love that for you.
alcohol.
For you.
It was interesting. It was an interesting journey. I stopped drinking alcohol in September of 2022.
Mhm.
And it was really because, so I don't know if I've told this story, but I'll tell it real quick. So I had just got back from the US, and usually my ritual when I got back from the US is I would order some tacos al pastor and a bottle of Moscato, and it's
Mhm.
going down, right? So I had that particular day, and it was lovely going in. And then when it came out, I was like,
Never
I
again.
don't, I don't, I don't want to do this. I don't want to experience this
Oh no.
ever again. So it was on that day I stopped eating meat and I stopped drinking.
Uh,
So what do I have in my cup? I actually have some tea. So I've been getting, did I tell you that I wanted to get into tea?
no.
So you know me, I'm a little bougie. But so when I say I want to get into tea, like I want the clear
The
tea pot
expensive, right?
with it
All
don't
the different.
necessarily have to be expensive, but it needs to look like something,
Yeah. No,
But
it's the
but
expensive
clear.
part.
I want it to be all clear because I want to be able to like observe the process. I'm in
Mhm.
this mindfulness place with myself, like of trying to slow down, and my psychologist keep being on me about like it seemed like you're doing a lot, sis. Sis, you need to slow down, sis. So anyway, so I want the clear teapot with the
Mhm.
clear tea cups, and like
Right.
I want to do the tea. So I've been getting into tea every morning.
Okay.
So every morning and sometimes at night when I remember. So this tea is basic English breakfast tea, okay,
Okay.
which is a
Mhm.
black tea, which kind of has a feel of like coffee to me.
Oh.
But so I put honey in it,
Mhm.
and then I also put some infused coconut oil in it.
Oh, so that's a fun tea.
It is. And
It
also,
is.
do you remember when I had to steer clear of your coconut oil at your house?
Like, don't use that, girl.
And when you gave my brother that pound cake, he couldn't get his shit
Okay, I
together.
mean the way you say it, like I made him take it.
I don't know what happened. All I know is he was in the back seat of the car and he was like, I need water.
I need
I
water.
need water. And I was like, what is your problem? Because earlier that day we had went to get crawfish, remember? And we had crown. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, we've had the exact same thing today. You are really cutting up, sir. You
Uh-huh.
are really cutting the food. You're that thirsty. Stop it. So I kept looking at him like, what is your problem? Then the
No.
next morning, he's
Yes.
like,
Whew,
Alonda gave me that
Kalanda.
pound cake.
Kalanda. Kalanda gave me that pound cake. I'm like, I didn't do anything. He said he wanted some. He seemed to be enjoying himself until his mouth turned into the Sahara Desert. Like, he was like, this is not fun for me. This is not fun. Sorry, Corey.
I have so
Oh,
many stories
uh,
about edible things going around at my
uh,
own hand though, but we won't get into those right now. But anyway, so that's what I'm drinking. I am drinking some
gotcha.
infused black tea with coconut oil acting as my creamer, as well as some honey for a sweetener. What you drinking?
Well, I am a Crown Royal queen. So
Uh-huh.
there's Crown Royal and Coke. Perfect. Perfect mix. Nice amount of fizz. Only thing I'm missing is a little lime, but I'll still allow it.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yes. So I'm definitely starting my Cinco de Drinko right now.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I do think I'm going to do some type of Mexican inspired meal
Oh, there
today.
you go.
So let me do this first before I jump into that. So y'all, we talking, we cousins, okay, and we catching up on the things, right? So I'm
So
saying
just
that
hanging out with
because yeah, I'm like, I don't want
us.
y'all to be like, wait, what is the agenda?
Like,
Because this is the thing too.
is this a 10-minute talk about tea? Like, what are they
Yes,
doing? Like,
it might be,
sometimes,
and
sometimes.
then we'll move on to something else, right? So we wanted to like give y'all the disclaimer, like just because if you're looking for an agenda, it's loose, but
We
it's
got on
here.
here at 11 o'clock. That was the
That is
agenda.
the
Check.
assignment. And we did that, right?
We
So
did that.
anyway, as we're talking, please feel free to join in, right? This is an open conversation, right? So feel free to chime in, feel free to comment, feel free to add your 2 cents, if you're drinking
Mhm.
tea or whatever, but throw it in the comments.
Cup check. What's
Also,
everybody's
like
cup?
yeah, say hey, like, what's up, y'all? So and so is here hanging out and all that. So, like, talk to us. And also let us know where you at. Because I don't know if I said this, I didn't. I live in South America. I live in Medellin, Colombia. And it's real interesting. I realize when I say that to people because I be acting like I'm so regular. And but like I
Anything
am, but like I'm not, but I
but
am
not,
though. Like
but not, but not at all. And that's how you're supposed to be. And look, because that I was going to talk to you about that too, because I knew we were probably talking about Amanda Seals, but
yes,
this was
yes.
about her interview. This was separate. Like someone had asked her about who she dates or whatever, and they
Uh-huh.
were, oh, do you date regular men?
I
And
saw that.
she was like, no, because I'm not regular. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Snaps to
Just
you.
accept it, right?
Right. And there's something to be
Yeah.
said for saying, like, I want to date someone who does believe that they are extraordinary. Like, I want them to know that they are them and that I can now exist in all my extra exuberance and all the greatness that I have because we're both on the same field. And if you
Right.
just think you're regular, then, like,
Right.
how am I supposed to get excited about you?
Right.
It was just really, it
So
was a cool perspective.
can I add to that? Because I
Of
had a real
course.
life experience. I've had several, but there's one that jumped to my brain. Because when you mentioned dating,
Hmm.
so I was dating this guy here in Colombia, and I was actually dating him at the time that I had my mental health crisis and such back in July.
Right.
And before that time, I felt like we were fairly comparable. Like, first of all, this is something I know is I be telling people you have not met anybody like me. I know
Right.
that, right? So I do say that to people, but of course, what the hell does that mean, right? It's just like, okay, girl, right? Until they start to get to know me, and then they
You're
like,
like,
I
oh
ain't never
shit.
met nobody like you. Exactly.
Like,
So
that's
I
what I
had
tried to tell
already
you.
Right. I had already said that to him, but I think after everything happened in July and I
Hmm.
started what happened at that time, I was very much like talking to God on a regular basis. Like I'm talking all day consistently, like getting revelation and plans and like all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And I had said to him over the course of time, like, I feel energy. And he was like, he wouldn't say anything when I would say that. So during this time I said, when I say that I feel energy, do you understand what that means? So he's like, how? Like the whole time I had been saying it, it was baffling to him when I was saying
Mm.
I feel energy. He was just very much like, okay, girl. So, because sometimes he would touch me and I would feel like, what were you thinking about just now? Right.
Right.
So, what happened is the way that we started to interact and the energy that I started to feel like there was a shrinking that was
Mm.
happening.
Like from him,
And
like shrinking back.
from him, yeah. Like not
Mm.
I didn't know if it was back, forward, under, around, or
Gotcha.
through. It just felt like it was shrinking. Like it
Uh-huh.
didn't feel like distance per se. It felt
Right.
like shrinking, right?
Yeah.
So I said to him one day, I was like, what's going on? Because I feel like this difference. And he finally said to me one day, I feel small next to you.
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't know what you want me to do with that piece of information because I am like only going to be more,
Right.
especially as
Right.
I get to know who I am
Right.
and as I get to embrace, right? So you just checked me on the regular, but not regular, right? So as I begin to embrace that I'm not just a regular person with this regular life, like whatever any of that means, right? But that I have done some extraordinary things and I have like made some brave decisions that others
Mm-hmm.
like as I embrace that, I'm only going to get more in tune with who I am. So
Exactly.
if you feel small, I don't know what you want me to do with that,
How are you
sir.
asking me how to help you become bigger? Because I'm not going to shrink at any point in the future. So how can I assist you? But I mean, it's good for him to at least have said it, because a lot of times they don't even
This is
acknowledge
true.
that there is a difference, um, and the amount of ego that's there to say or
Right.
not there to
Right.
say, like, I feel like we're on a different level, and at least
Yes.
it gives you the opportunity to move forward and say, okay, cool. Like you said, what would you like me to do with that information? How can I help you? Or
Correct.
call it and find people that are on the same plane as both of you.
Right. And I'm all about informed consent, right? Because
Right.
I feel like I come with a lot of disclaimers, which is also something I'm trying. Seriously, it's something I'm trying not to do as much
I'm all about the
because
disclaimers.
I will be like, disclaimer, I'm drinking my tea. It's infused. Sometimes God get to talking. And
Uh-huh.
when I get to talking, y'all better be listening because I be talking and
Yeah.
it be making sense. So that's a disclaimer I'll come with. Or I feel like I have to give a disclaimer, hey, just so you know, I have OCD. And then that's the whole thing, right? Or a disclaimer of I'm on the spectrum in some way, shape, or form. I'm all up in here and such. Or I'm at a point in my life where I'm working on executive functioning. Like I just feel like I come with so many disclaimers. Not that the reason I said I'm trying to stop myself from doing it is because it starts to feel like I'm justifying my existence.
Oh,
And that's not what my intention is, right? Because if I
right.
give you the disclaimer, but then you don't understand, right? And
Hmm.
this is a great place. We mixing and matching, right? Because
We're
about the
here.
Amanda
No, it's
Seals
good.
thing, right? I
Yeah.
knew you knew where I was going because the reason why somebody like us would say, hey, just so you know, I'm neurodivergent, or I am in this stage of my life, or whatever said disclaimer looks like, is because we're trying to be understood
Understood.
and we don't want you to misunderstand any or misinterpret
Right.
anything that was intended with the best of intentions, right? Because we're
Exactly.
also very conscious of intent versus impact, right?
Exactly.
So I want
Huge.
to pour my heart out, if you will, and let you know the who you are dealing with. I'm a very direct person. I'm very transparent, like blah, blah, whatever said disclaimers are, so
Right.
that you'll understand and won't get offended. And
Right.
what usually happens is the fucking disclaimer doesn't work. That's what
Doesn't
usually
work.
happens.
Somehow they miss it completely. Like it's because I think you and I talked about it before, where even like when I was on the dating sites and stuff, and I was like, okay, let me put everything in here
Up front.
in this little blurb, so you can make your decision about whether or not I'm someone you want to interact with. Because I am aware, like there is a time constraint in life. You know, we don't have
Right,
it in
right, right.
abundance, so let's not waste each other's time. You know, so if I can give you a list of all the things that are me or the big things that I think may have a little point of contention, I want you to be able to look at that and go, that's not something I can deal with, and go
And
about your
swipe
business.
left. Swipe
Because
left.
you could have just not talked to me in the first place. You could have just skipped it all together and it would have been fine. You know what I mean? But instead, it's like you put these things out there and it's almost, I don't know. I don't know if people think that they can change you
Or it's a
or,
challenge. It
right.
feels like it's a challenge. Like,
It's something.
oh,
'Cause-
for instance, you don't drink alcohol. No worries. I'm a man.
right.
You just ain't had the right drink. Or
You
where
haven't
it
picked the
feels
right
like a
one.
challenge. Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
why would you pick up that like, why do you want that? Like, that's just, it's almost like when people get together and they're like, oh, I don't want kids, and it's like, oh, well, I can change their mind, or I do want kids, or whatever it is, and just getting together and saying, well, by the end of this time maybe they'll soften. And it's like, they told you who they were from the
Up
beginning.
front.
Why did you not believe them? Why would you not just accept that? But then at the same time, I feel like it it almost makes me think negatively of, okay, I gave all my disclaimers. So then when someone tells me something, because I know how I deliver my disclaimers, that I take it as, this is a hard stop. Like, this is what you mean. These are your words. This is what you're standing on. And so there's only so many places I can go from here for you,
Yes. Yes.
And but then they'll
They
turn
don't be
around and
meaning that.
say,
They don't be
well, it doesn't really mean, and I'm like, but you said it. So it
Bro,
does.
I just wrote down in my notebook, words
Words mean
mean
things.
things.
Yes.
Kalanda. Let me tell you something. Where I can't understand. Me and Bianca talked about this. Hey, bro, why y'all out here using words recklessly when, like, words, people,
That have
oh God,
an existing word. There is a definition for it.
people say to me, you take things so literally. And confusion because
How else? How
words
else should I?
have literal meanings. They literally
Hmm.
mean things. So
Things.
I don't understand how you using words and they don't mean what this is. So how the hell I'm supposed to know what you mean if you just using words, but that ain't really what you mean? You a liar. You a liar. That's what it is. That's what it amounts to for me. You
She
a
said, I took
liar.
that leap.
Cause
And
you just talking.
you told me. You told me all I have to go on is what you say.
What you said?
And I'm trying to give all the benefits of the doubt and say, you know what? I'm gonna take you at your what? Your word. Like
That's what they say.
that's how the saying goes. That's how the saying goes. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
take you at
God.
your word. And now you're telling me that may or may not mean anything. So now I don't, because
You a
again,
liar. Like I said, you a liar, and I can't
I was
trust you.
gonna say spectrum. That's being on the spectrum and such. Ah.
That's what it
Oh,
means. It means you
Jesus.
be out here lying, just saying anything, and I can't trust anything that you say because words don't even. You don't even have a respect for your words. You don't even have respect for your words. Hard
Oh,
stop here. And I am
girl.
oh boy, I was just talking about, right? Oh boy. Back in my DMs, okay. His birthday passed recently,
Uh-huh.
right? Now I had asked him when it was a lot of things that happened. But anyway, so what I had asked from him was, I need you to be my friend. Right. I need you to be my friend. He was here when everything happened in July. Like, you're well aware of the journey that I'm on. Like, I need you to be my friend. I need you
Right.
to be a part of my support system. That if I need something here in Colombia, you're somebody I can rely on. I need you to be my friend. Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, I can't do that because I love you. And I said, if you loved me, then you would have heard me say, I need you to be my friend.
Right.
That's what I need because you love me,
Right.
right? Or that's what you said
He's
anyway,
right.
right? Okay, fast forward. His birthday just passed. So he told me he couldn't be my friend. No way, no how. Can't do it. So sorry. Act like I never knew you. Okay. But also, you still watching my stories. You still like you're still trying to keep tabs on me. So why? Right. Okay. So his birthday passed. When I delete you out of my brain, as because this the
You're
thing.
gone.
This the thing. This the thing. This the thing. This the thing. Let me
Some of the
let me
things.
let me get closer to the mic. Okay. I give a lot of grace. I give a lot of grace
Right.
in things and situations and explanations and such, right?
Right.
If you get me to the point where I am now deleting you out of existence, because I have mental funerals for people all the time, right?
Not the funeral.
I do. But basically, it's
Maybe.
kind of like people remove themselves from my life because I'm telling you
That's
what I
that.
need, and you're telling me you can't do that. Okay, that slot has
Cool.
now closed. That opportunity is passed. I respect your decision. I I,
Thank you so
I
much
wouldn't
for
have
the
made that
memories.
choice, but
Right.
also this is your life, right?
That's you.
This man birthday passed. He gonna ask me why I didn't tell him. I at least thought you would have told me happy birthday. Why? Why would
We're
I
not
even
friends.
remember that it's your birthday? We're not friends. We're not friends. Now we're not friends to the point. This is you done unfriended me on Facebook. All that.
Stop.
And Facebook is how I even know that people have birthdays. Because let me tell you what I can't do is keep all these birthdays in this brain. If you ain't been with me since the jump,
Right, right,
I
right,
don't really know your birthday no more.
right.
Okay. I don't have enough brain cells and brain people to allocate towards
For
remembering all
birthdays
these
and
birthdays.
anniversaries.
But also, I don't even log into Facebook every day. And I
Right.
definitely don't go down the birthday track because then it feels like I have to now be obligated to wish people happy birthday because I know it's your birthday. So a lot it becomes overwhelming,
A
is what
thing.
I'm
It
trying to
becomes a
say.
thing. Yes.
Okay. So, sir, why would I remember your birthday? So that's what I said to him. Why would I remember your birthday? We ain't friends. And he was like, but I love you and I want you in my life. Sir,
Stop.
did I what Xavier
Stop.
said? So friends don't like that's where love starts. Is friendship, fool.
Right.
You told me that you ain't want that, sir. Why is you over here in my DMs? I'm trying to understand.
It doesn't. It's
They
like
don't be
the.
meaning what they say, Kalanda. They don't be
Because I
meaning
was
it.
gonna
They
say
just
it's
be talking.
conditional, but then that's still not love. But it's not love though,
Correct.
because it's like
Correct. Love isn't conditional. And this the other I'm sorry. This I'm gonna be quiet because I want you to chime in on this as much as you want to chime in on this. Because I have another friend that he's getting a divorce.
oh, okay.
And his wife was saying to him that she's at a place in life like a crossroads type situation.
Hmm. Yeah.
And she's trying to figure out her, right?
Right.
So then I asked him, do you love her, the person? Or do you love her, your wife?
Your wife. Right.
Because if your love for her is only attached to her being in this
Her
particular
title in this
role in your
role. Yeah.
life, then you don't really
You
love
don't love her.
her, the
Right.
person. You have been loving the idea of her.
Right.
And I asked him that some time ago and he really couldn't answer. And he's still kind of thinking through that. But that's what it gave to me. It gave,
Yeah.
I love the convenience of you. I love what you can
Right.
do for me. I love
Right.
that I get to say that you're my girl. I love that.
Mhm.
But I don't love you enough to hear what you need and to be that. Because if I'm saying explicitly to you, need you to be my friend. I need to know that I can count on you, and you say to me that you cannot do that. Why the hell would I ever want you to be my partner if you can't
Exactly.
count on me? All right, I'm a pause.
And
Go ahead.
especially if you think about like the biggest difference between, well, I mean, there's more obviously, asterisk, all that good stuff, between being a friend and being in a relationship or lover or whatever, um, is the physical and the intimacy. So you only love me then if we're going to be physically intimate, like, because that's
That
really the biggest
that's
difference.
really it. That's the
So
difference.
why wouldn't you,
Wow.
like, why wouldn't you want to be there? And who's to say that if you aren't a good enough friend that it doesn't develop back
Correct.
into something that does incorporate a physical
Correct.
relationship. But to just say no, if I can't, like you said, claim you as my woman, have access to you, have all of these things that I get as a bonus of being in this relationship, then I don't
Right.
want it. But if I have to
Ooh.
exist with you in a space that doesn't include any kind of physical
Ooh.
intimacy, I don't want that from you. And it's like, what are you supposed to do with
Ooh.
that?
Block them.
Facts.
That's what I'm about to do. Because when you put it like I've never really broke it down like that. When you put it like that, I don't need this kind of energy in my life because you are trying to use and consume me. I'm not here for your consumption and for you to use me. If you can't, and the other thing that I heard you say was like friendship. I already say this, but I'm gonna state it again because I feel like it needs to be said. Is friendship is a level of intimacy that I feel is unable to really be quantified.
Mhm.
Like when I think about the people that I consider my friends, right? Especially now in this like season of life.
Uh,
Like y'all done seen your girl broke and downtrodden. You know what I mean?
right,
Like,
right.
and
A
masked
complete different
off,
version
snotty
of
nose
yourself.
crying.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
so if you're not willing to hold that kind of space for me as a
Right.
friend, but you
Right.
want access to my physical body,
Just saying. Audacity is rampant these days.
and is, and is.
I just
I ain't never thought about it like that. And also, thank you. Thank you for putting it like that. Because I feel like love has turned into this possessive thing. And
yeah.
it's so interesting because I was that way. And through this process, is like I've just become so completely opposite of that. Because
Mhm.
again, if I love you as a person, then I need to hear what you're saying to me that you need from me, as
Right.
opposed to me being selfish in thinking about what I need from you.
Right.
Um, but that is not the common way of thinking about things.
No.
And when a lot of people say, back to words meaning things, when a lot of people say things like, I love you, or, I want to be in a relationship with you, my question is, what does that mean to you?
Right. What does that look
What
like?
what does what is that? Because
Right.
your idea of what this means can be very different from, and probably is very
Right.
different from my idea, especially
Right.
because I've been like on this journey of doing this work. So it's like I
Mhm.
can't take words, I can't where people don't be meaning what they be saying. So I
Right.
need
Right.
additional clarity. But then when you be asking for additional clarity, now folks got an attitude.
Now it's too much. No. Why you gotta be you take everything so seriously?
It's
Like
so literally like, why you can't just it was a joke. Let me tell you something about jokes. This what I
10%, 10% truth, at least at a
in
minimum, in
every
every joke.
in every joke, there is
Every
some
joke.
truth. Okay. So I heard what you said, and I also heard what you didn't say, and
But
I'm
you didn't
hearing it
say.
all. You understand?
Exactly. Right.
But that's also where a lot of miscommunication starts. And I was joking. Well, how the hell
Right.
I was supposed to know you was joking? Like if you said to me, girl, yesterday I went to the jazz fest and
Mhm.
had to wait 2 hours to get in the line, right?
Right.
And you say it to me like that, girl, 2 hours. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
2 hours, girl.
$2.
What was happening at the ticket? What? And you was
A
like, but it
mango
wasn't two
freeze?
hours. It was actually
Right.
like 30 minutes. What the hell
Then why 2 hours? Like, just that I was in line for a long time. Like, because words
I'm
do what?
supposed to know? They mean things. I don't understand. I
Oh.
really don't. I really don't. I just we gonna have to clip this because
It's a
I feel like I tried to explain this. So this is why I said with the disclaimers why I feel like I wind up feeling like I'm justifying my
mm,
life because I'm intentional with my words, right?
right,
But you're
right,
not intentional with your words. So
right.
you think I'm not intentional with my words, even though I
Correct.
am very
I'm
intentional with my words.
telling
So
you.
now we gotta have another conversation where I done already said this because I'm intentional with my words, but because you ain't intentional with your words, you think I'm not intentional with mine. So now we talking about this again.
Again. Again.
I already said what I said, and I meant what I said because I say what I
Right.
mean, and I means what I says.
That part. But
But people
I guess I still challenge like the that it's a justification of who you are. I think it's almost like a label, like it's almost like a laundry label. Like
mhm,
this is how I need you to care for me,
yes,
or
yes,
how, like, just so you can operate and understanding this is why, this is where it's coming
yes,
from. Not an excuse for it. It's not a,
correct.
oh, I don't know, ghost people because I don't know, I've had
I
trouble
don't
in the
have.
past
I
or
got
whatever.
conflict resolution skills.
Yeah, I'm an avoidant. I have an avoidant attachment or
Hmm.
whatever. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's not that. It's, hey, these are the things that are impactful in my life, and the best way that you can show up for me is to know this so you can act accordingly,
Yeah,
and so you can decide if you want to
if this is
engage
for you.
in the first place. So it's like, I definitely don't think it's a justification of the behavior. I think it's important to have an understanding of it, but like you said, if they're not intentional with their words, they're expecting that that's how you show up with yours. And I guess that's a point I hadn't considered.
Hmm.
I just felt like they just weren't listening because I'm like, that's my thing. I'm like, I told you, I
Uh-huh.
said, like I said, and
Uh-huh.
for me to say it is
Uh-huh.
the big thing. Like, because we could have not, we could have easily not, and it have been perfectly fine. But because I told you, now there's a different level of expectation because I want you to honor that because anything you've said, I've honored as well. So
Correct.
I don't know.
Correct. Yeah, I think the justification part for me comes in and me not accepting that they are unwilling to understand
Mm,
or so I feel like I got to explain again, right? Because I
right.
value you as a person. So now
Yeah.
I'm re-explaining and re-explaining, which makes me feel like I'm trying to get you to empathize with what I'm saying because
And
why don't you care about me the way that I care about you? But also what I heard you say, and this is me. This what I also heard you say. You ain't listening to me, in
right.
that you may have heard me, right?
Right.
I've said this and all that, but you haven't listened to me and you haven't received me. You not for me. We not in
Right.
alignment. I'm not gonna keep doing this. Like I'm not gonna keep saying this, right? And you know me, Kalanda. I'm sending articles. Okay, I'm sending YouTube video. I'm sending
Right.
podcasts. I'm sending play. I'm equipping
I
you
want
with
you
the info.
I want you to be able, in any learning style that you possess, to be able to digest this information and be able to act accordingly. I'm not assuming anything other than the fact that I've given you the info. I gave it to you.
That's it.
I gave it
And
to
if well, the assumption is if you cared enough, then you would have
you. Eh,
opened the info and read the info and
oh,
listened to the
true.
info.
I'm assuming that you saw it. See, and that's because I
So
feel like if you had done that, then I automatically am like, because I'm curious about how you think, what makes, like, what motivates you and why you got that, how you got that way, and how did you get to that point. So if you send
Yeah.
me this link, this article, this whatever, I'm like, oh, a roadmap, you know, like, it's an open
The
book
curiosity of it all.
test. Like,
People don't
I'm
take it like
giving you the
that.
answer.
They don't take it like that.
That's true.
They
And
get
then it didn't,
insulted.
it didn't even occur to me. Didn't even occur to me that they wouldn't open the link. Like that's how my brain works. Did I complete side note? Sorry, y'all, we do this. I don't know if you saw this. It was, I think it was talking about, oh, I forget what the, how they split up the groups, but it was like this work group, and they said, okay, here's the example. We have these students that need to go on this field trip, and we've raised this money, but it turns out there's we're only able to take so many students, so there's like 5 or 6 kids that wouldn't be able to go. Break up into teams and come up with a solution on like what's going to happen and what the next steps are.
For
So
those
okay, they
kids
break
that couldn't go.
for the kids, like to kind of disseminate the information of either who's going, who's not
Okay.
going, like how did we get there. So then okay, they have their breakout, they come back. I wish I could remember what the breakdown of the group was, but one group goes, we just take the kids, like we just take all of them, like we ask the parents, you know, if they can fundraise, we start doing stuff around school to get extra money. And in the
Mhm.
other group, they were like, their minds were blown. They were like, we didn't even consider
That somebody wouldn't be able to go.
raising that could raise money to get the kids. They were just like, okay, how do we pick? They spent their time trying to figure out which
Who
kids could go.
who deserve to
So
go.
who's right, who's not gonna go on this trip? Like, okay, 7
Mm.
kids not gonna make it. Let's
So
figure out how
who
we
are the
pick.
worst ones? Yeah.
And I was just like,
Wow.
what? And it was just very interesting because I'm like, they the lady was like, it did not occur to any of us to raise money or find a way to like pay for these other kids to get
Wow.
there. And I was just like, holy shit. And just when you think about how people think about things, and it's easy to take it for granted that everybody's on the same wavelength as you and that
Yeah.
everybody's processing information the same. And it's just not. It's just not. And you know, you think about, you surround yourself with your friends, with your family, they tend to have like minds. You know, our algorithms are all set up now to kind of deliver what we like and what agrees with us. So you don't often see that descending opinion. So it's like you're surrounded by what you feel. So
Yeah.
then when faced with something opposite of that, it's like, oh, what? I never even thought of it. So it made me think of that because I was like, oh, I didn't even think that they wouldn't open
Yeah.
the email. Like if you sent me this link, like I need to look at this link to understand where you're coming from. Like,
Yeah.
okay, done.
Yeah. I've discovered
I must.
is that no. So that's the first question I asked because then the assumption would be I sent this to you and you read it
Right,
and now you just don't care. But
right,
then I'm like, did you even open it? No, but and that's a
right.
different question, right?
That's a different, right.
If I
Did you
sent
care
something
enough?
to you that I asked you, right? But it's about what you actually did because you know what'll happen is people be like, "Well, you assume this or whatever," and then we get into this semantics war.
Right,
And the fact of the matter is, this is not about whether you read it or not. This is about the fact that I sent something to you that was important to me, and you
right,
didn't create the time to make it a priority for you.
right.
And that is a behavior that is not in alignment with what I need in my life. And
Right.
that is what I am becoming more intentional about stating without
Mhm.
feeling like I am losing something, someone, a connection, blah, 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 what have you. Right. So it's like I have to accept everybody isn't in alignment. And
Mhm.
as soon as I see that they are not in alignment, I have to ask myself, how many times am I willing to address this?
Right.
Because I know people don't think like me, right? So I also want to give you an opportunity to be
Right.
able to tap into what I am asking. I also want to give you an opportunity to honor what I am saying. But
Right.
after how many times that I got to have the same conversation, am
Right.
I going to keep having this conversation? So that's what I feel like I
Eh,
have to decide is what that looks like. I was telling Bianca the other day, like the whole boundaries conversation, a lot of times we frame boundaries, and I used to do this too. We frame boundaries as um controlling somebody else's behavior. Like, don't scream at me. That's the boundary,
Right.
as opposed to the boundary being, if you scream at me, I'm going to do this. I
Right.
can't control whether
I
you
can't
scream.
control anything you do. Right. I can control
But
how I react
if
to
you
it.
do that again, please understand that you won't be talking to me, right?
Correct.
So that's what I hear in all of this, is that I need to establish what my boundary is going to be about how I explain to people who I am and what I
Hmm.
need and how to best love me,
Yeah.
and how much re-explaining I'm willing to do
To
if
do.
there is a place of lack of understanding. Like, it's almost like I feel like I need to get success criteria. Like, what does success look like that this person is actually
Exactly.
honoring what I'm saying?
It,
What changes am I seeing? Because I also have to be realistic. I can't expect, you've been thinking this way for 40 plus years. I can't expect you
right.
to all of a sudden now, because you met me, change
Right.
your entire programming, right?
Yeah.
So it's also that, keeping that in
Yeah.
mind. Yeah.
Exactly. And especially at our age now, the people that we're interacting with, especially dating wise, if they're older than us, that's still, it's almost, I mean, we're still the same generation. Hi,
Hmm.
Sarah. Oh, we're still the same.
This is, hey girl. Hey
This is
girl.
our third member, Sarah, who likes to talk to us after a while.
Where
I
her
put the
bones
bone
at?
out. I put it out. She had it, and then she got down. So I don't know. We're
Sarah,
gonna
go
see.
get your bone, girl.
You know what I'm saying? I tell you, Xavier, you were supposed to be here.
Oh, that was the baby spirit.
No. um, complete brain fart. Man, you are distracted. What was I telling you? Something amazing, I'm sure. Mm-mm-mm.
We were
Had a great
talking
point.
about,
Oh, age gaps. Yes, because
yes,
even though we're in the
if
same
they're older
generation,
than us.
there's still some holdovers to just how people view things. Like I've had two separate conversations with people
Hmm.
where they both remarked about they both remarked about how therapy doesn't work. And I'm just
Mm.
like,
I've had
huh.
this conversation as well.
Right. And it's just
Hmm.
the like understanding that okay, they're gonna be there's whole subsets of people that are like, that was just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, work it out. There's nothing that somebody else can tell you about yourself and all these things. But having been a person who therapy has helped,
Right.
um, it's like, while I hear what you're saying, please allow me to present you the other side. That there's definitely therapy that has helped me. There's therapy that was not good for me. So
Hmm.
yes, 100% that's out there. But there's also, looking at stuff where you're like, oh, if I hadn't even talked to this person, I would not have gained this perspective. And one of the people was like, oh, it's just a money grab because it's never over. And I'm like, no, you can be finished with therapy. Like
Right.
you can graduate, like whatever situation that brought you to therapy in the first place, once that's been identified and addressed, your therapist will be like, all right, girl, like call me if you need me.
Yeah.
You work the situation out. And unless you have something else that happens in the future that requires assistance, then you're done. Um, but it's just taking that stuff into consideration because of our age and the people that we're in contact with, that they may already on a basis not be coming from the same place. Yeah.
Correct. And that to me has become very glaring, and also it's made me kind of, I feel like I keep adding lenses to the way that I view the world and the way that I understand how other people think and how other people process information. So for instance, I now know that I cannot really be with someone seriously who does not understand the basics of mental health. Like, I need you to at least understand that mental health is the same thing as if we were talking about your heart health, or if we were talking about your bone health, or we were talking about your weight or whatever. Like, if we were talking about some other, your reproductive health. So I need people in my life to understand that. And what I am coming to understand is that there are a lot of people who exist in the world who do not have those understandings. And my time is better spent of pouring into myself than trying to get them to understand the importance, because it becomes this battle of, like, if it's already not a value for you that you take care of your brain and you are a self-aware person and you are thinking about your thinking, if that's not already a value for you, I can't be the one to introduce that to you, because then I become the reason for your discomfort. You know, that's like why we shouldn't be therapists to our friends and to our partners, because now you're going to be targeting your frustration at me because I'm bringing up, you know, your childhood trauma that you never dealt with because I could see it, but now you mad at me. No, you need to be mad at your therapist. And then in 2 weeks, y'all, next week, y'all talk about that again. Okay. And y'all figure that out over there. And then you just come and tell me about it. But I can't be the one to awaken somebody to the understanding of mental health. It's just, it's too much of a heavy lift for me. And it puts me in a situation, again, of feeling like I'm justifying who I am and what I am, because in this whole study of neurodivergence, and neurodivergence really being about the difference in every single person's brain. This, I don't know if I told you this, but I don't believe that there is a such thing as neurotypical. I really don't. And the reason I don't believe that there's a such thing as neurotypical is because neurotypical is supposed to be, for lack of a word, a better way to put it, y'all, a normal brain, free from any condition that might cause differences in how the brain operates. But this is the thing, all of us have lived on this planet. And because all of us have lived on this planet, and most of the people that are listening to this at this point in time live in the United States of America, and I'm also willing to believe that most of the people that are listening to this not just live in the United States of America, but also live in Black or brown bodies that have been historically marginalized. That in itself is trauma. That in itself is trauma, which means that your brain has changed because of that trauma, right? And that manifests in different ways. So when we talk about neurotypical, to me, you're saying white, because y'all wasn't doing studies on people of color and honoring the way that racial systems and all of that white supremacy culture is set up. Like, y'all wasn't doing that. So these are white people, probably men, that y'all have tested on, that you're saying this is the standard for brain operation. I don't believe that to be true. So having said that, I feel like it's very important for us to understand how our unique brains work, because we don't understand. And what starts to happen, and what has been happening, is we have horrible self-talk. We say horrible things to ourselves because we don't understand why we operate the way that we do. We're trying to fit ourselves into boxes of capitalism and things that we were never meant to operate in, and trying to figure out, well, why I can't function, you know, and work 2 jobs and inflation and drink my water and exercise, because you wasn't never meant to do all those things. So, but instead of you honoring the system of it, we blame ourselves. And that is not how that is supposed to go. So, in all of that, I feel like it's important for us to understand how we were meant to operate and how our brains operate at their base level without trying to fit yourself into boxes that you were never meant to fit into. But what I also understand is that that is a very difficult process to start unpacking that stuff, and many people are not willing to take on the responsibility of healing from the 18 years of childhood trauma. Now, this is the last thing I'm gonna say before I let you jump in here. Um, it has recently dawned on me how short of a time that we have to help children prepare to be adults in this world, and how so many people have chosen to have children and have done so much damage to children, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And then we as the adults are trying to heal from this time period of, let's say, 20 years. We're trying to heal from that for the next 60 years of our life, trying to repair the harm that was caused. This is why everybody don't need to have children. This is why everybody don't need to have children. And I'm grateful that the times are starting to change where we are more willing to say, I don't want that for myself, or I don't want to go through that process. I'd rather pour into the world in a different way, because the type of harm that we have caused in so many kids, like when we're looking at adults, whatever adults that you've judged about whatever, at whatever time in your life, all of that stemmed from childhood trauma. And all of that changed their brains for them to operate in whatever capacity that you've deemed acceptable or unacceptable. And because we don't know that, we continue repeating that cycle and we continue harming people. And I'm over it. I'm over it. You're muted, love. You muted. You muted. You muted. There you go.
Trying to keep stuff quiet. Sorry. But no, I think we because it is a system, it does take to have someone step outside of it because yes, negative self talk is real. Like the things we say to ourselves, just even in thinking that we're trying to motivate, is really just tearing us down and breaking in further to what people have said that are bad about us. Um, but the system doesn't reward anything outside of it because we're always taught, oh, you should be able to multitask. You should be able to juggle all these balls and keep all these plates spinning and all these things. When you really think about it, multitasking, people aren't supposed to do that.
It's not
Brains
real.
supposed to. You know what's supposed to multitask? Your computer. Like it's supposed to have all of the tabs open and be able to do these things at the speed of light. You aren't supposed to have to operate like that. Your brain is meant to focus on one task from beginning to end, get rewarded with dopamine at the end of the
Right.
and then you start your next task. Like that is how it's supposed to go. But we're so busy being told that you're supposed to be able to do all of this that when you're not able to, then kicks your negative self talk of why can't I? Look at so and so, they're able to do it. Meanwhile, you don't know what they're having left undone because they're
Right.
trying their best
Right.
to multitask.
Right.
So it's like that
Right.
spirit of comparison definitely kicks your ass. Negative self talk kicks your ass. It's just how do oh now she wants to come inside. She barked at me. Nerve. Um but yeah, like having how do you where does that start though is I guess my question because it is that cycle. So where does the cart go and where does the horse go at that point?
Mhm.
Because you need both of them to change in order to actually see the difference. Because even
Mhm.
if you start to realize, oh, okay, like it's all right for me to focus on this one thing and do it well instead of doing 15 things in a mediocre fashion, but then you have the world going, that's all you did,
Right.
so where does it start? Who's who's the first one to give? But you said um you said something I just lost completely slipped my mind. But
Can I comment on what you just said about
yeah,
where it started
yeah,
or where
please.
to start? Because I feel like it starts with unplugging from the system.
That's true.
Because if we remain in the system, then the system is going to continue to require that we show up in those particular
Yeah,
ways.
yeah,
So that's why I understand that everybody isn't meant to be an entrepreneur. I absolutely get that. But I also believe that if you choose to be in the system, that you need to understand that it is a system and that
right.
it is not meant for you to be operating at your optimal condition. It is meant for you to be a cog in a wheel to
In the
make
wheel to
somebody
turn out
else.
a product.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it. So if I'm going to choose, right, to allow myself to be used by the system, then that means I also need to be responsible to understand this is not how it's supposed to work. So in the rest of my life, I need to be able to give myself the grace and ability to be able to operate the way I'm supposed to.
right.
But
True.
if I'm trying to live and I'm trying to, make it, how do I do that? This is why I be like, y'all leaving or what? That's what I be telling you.
Like so,
It's
she's like,
broke
so
over
are
there.
your bags packed?
What is the
But
plan? Is what I be
why
asking. What
you
is the
why you
plan?
still
Because this ain't working. It feels like the definition of insanity to me that we keep doing the
right,
same thing, expecting a different result. And in my mind, I'm like, this ain't working. So is y'all doing something different, or you
right?
just gonna like continue
We
to
just
try to
traded out for a different hamster wheel. It's like
that?
you say, okay, that didn't work, but I'm gonna do something else. But we're still in
Yes,
the system, so it doesn't
yes,
feel like the same thing, but
but it is.
ultimately, it is still the same thing.
Yes, yeah,
Um, no, but I do. It was what you were saying about the children. If
uh huh.
I mean, since I turned 18, I said I don't want kids. Or before I turned 18, I should say. And then at 18, I'm like, hey, feel free, take it out. I don't need it. I'm not going to use it. Thanks. And they were like, yeah, no. No doctor's
I
going to do
remember
it.
you told me that.
You're
You were
not
like,
going to
they
cover
wouldn't
it.
do it.
And they said no. The lady on the phone told me no. I was like, but I know I don't want this. And it's like, no, once people start having kids around you,
Change
you're
their
gonna change your
mind.
mind. Once you get older, you're gonna want to have this experience and all these things. And I'm just like, all right, girl. Like I spent this whole time knowing that I don't want it. Um, but knowing and just because at that point all you have to go on is your past experience, and
Correct.
knowing that as parents the want is to have better for their kids than they have,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and to have them in a place where they're more comfortable, more protected, safe, whatever that looks like, but that it's better than that parent's experience was. And so knowing that that's the jump off point, the things that we went through after that being still having such
Imagine what
tremendous
it would have looked
experience.
like.
You know what I mean? Like imagine if they didn't care, if that wasn't,
Right.
and that was with the intent of being better. So for me personally, it was I don't, I don't want to see if I'm gonna be a good parent. I don't want
Mm.
to test it out and hope that it does well. And I know there are all the asterisks of, well, if you have a good partner, like they're gonna help you, and just because that's how it went, you'll be fine. I think you'll be a great, like those things all sound nice, but at the end of the day, it's still an experiment. You don't know until
Mm-hmm.
you're a parent what
Mm-hmm.
kind of parent you're going to be. And like you said, those things have such long reaching impacts on these kids, where it could be something that you don't even think anything of that turns out to be a major turning point for
Right.
the child that they
Right.
carry with them forever. And
Yeah.
a lot of times they don't realize until they're in their 40s that that's even where that came from. They may just
Right.
think, "Oh, I don't like bees. I don't know," and you don't know why. And it turns out
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It was something that happened to you as a kid. So you do only have them for such a short time, and there is the impacts of what you do last so long as a parent or an adult in this kid's life that you have to be intentional about it. And
Yeah.
so it was just really telling to me that two people from the same generation were like, therapy doesn't work. And I'm like, that's really nice that you had a life that didn't require that. It's like
Right.
that's
Right.
refreshing for you.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy that you didn't need that. For me, I am extremely grateful that therapy was around because
Same.
your girl needed a couch to lay on. And
Same. Same.
I would take it.
Same.
But I don't know. That's always why it's been when people are like, "Oh, you should have had kids," and I'm like, "No, I'll be a really good like aunt or something to
Mm-hmm.
someone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's call that good." I'm trying to fill in the gaps, but
Yeah, for
other than
me, I value sleep.
that,
And a lot of times, like that seems like people be like, I'm being shallow, but I don't
you
operate
need
well
sleep
off
though.
of no
I
sleep.
like I
I
think you
don't,
need it.
I don't, I don't do well. You know how some people are like able to function off of 4 hours of sleep, and that's not me. I
Yeah.
don't do well. So I feel like I would have been the perfect candidate for postpartum depression. Like I don't want to find out who I
Right.
am with no sleep, stressed out, maybe support or not, unable to really comprehend what's happening. I don't know what hormonal changes happening. Like I don't want to find that out. I have
Right.
always in my mind never been able to wrap my mind around the process of childbirth ever.
Hmm.
I've been like, I understand how it gets in there. I want to understand how it's coming out is what I need to make sense
Because
of.
it's not.
Like it never felt attractive to me. It never felt like something I wanted to. How some people like, I want a natural
I
birth and
love
I want
it.
to
I
do it
want
at
to
home.
do it. I want to
None of this
buy.
feels none of this feels like things that I want to experience. It really doesn't. Now, what I have always said is I feel called to kids who are like school aged.
Uh-huh.
And so I was always open to being a step parent or adopting
Right.
at, a later age. But like those first years, I know I would be great at it. I know I've
Right.
done
Right.
lots of research and things and all that. Yep. And also it's an experiment and I'm good on finding that out. But I've just like become my psychologist has been challenging me because she keeps asking me like, what do you want, what do you want?
Right.
And I feel like it's a callback to when I first started therapy, because when I first started therapy, when I was trying to get out of the abusive relationship, my therapist kept asking me, what do you want this to look like? And I didn't know how to answer that. I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, because I had spent so much time preparing to be a wife. Like I was like, I don't
Right.
I
Like, what you
just
mean?
want peace. Like I just
I want to
want
be
peace.
married.
I
Right.
don't, right.
Call it
So
good.
she challenged me with that. And now I'm seeing that coming back up. And my psychologist is like, what do you want? And I've had to be really honest with myself about these types of things. Like, do I desire to mother children? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does that have to look like birthing children? No.
No.
Have I
Right.
already mothered children?
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Right.
So let's honor that and let's not discount
Yeah.
that, because that is my role. I guess it's kind of like reframing too, because remember, I wanted to be a doctor when I
Right.
was a child. And I don't think it was about the doctor of it all. I think it was about the healing of it all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now I do
Yeah.
get to be a healer, but it's not through medicine. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where I find like a lot of paradigm shifting that I have to do, because medicine, the way that medicine looks at things is broken. We need to fix it. Give it some medicine, right?
Right.
Whereas when I'm talking to my psychologist, she's like, you're not broken. This
Right.
is how you were designed. And this is the purpose that you accepted. Because I do believe Tabitha Brown was on the No For Show podcast when it was No For Show,
Uh-huh.
even though it ain't no more.
Right.
But she had talked about how her belief is that God shows us in our spirit form what our life is going to be like, and we accept that
Mm-hmm.
assignment. We accept that
Gotcha.
assignment, knowing and understanding that there are going to be certain traumas and there are going to be certain hard things and all of that. But we
Mm,
also see how it's going to end, and we see the impact that we're going to have, and we see the ripple effect and all of that. And then our spirit decides to come down and take on this assignment. And
got
when
it.
I heard her say that, it really just gave me this sense of peace around the
Mm,
things I had to experience, because I still, Kalanda, be trying to wrap my mind around some of the things. Like, and I know it's a lifelong process, and I know you go through this too, but it's like I really still be like, how am I even here?
right. Because
Like,
when you said our spirit picks that, so I'm like, oh, so I'm just should be mad at myself then. Like I did this. Like, bitch, you chose this? Are you? Ooh, wee, whatever is at the end of this better be
but
fun.
that's what keeps
And I
me
know
feel.
that it's supposed to be spectacular. Like it has to be, right? Because what the hell? Like,
I believe that at the end of it, we win. I do. I believe at the
girl.
end of it, we win. So it says to me that if it has to be something in the Bible says that God will do greater than we can think or even imagine.
Right,
Right.
right,
So, and I content, Kalanda, I never, I didn't see this for my life. I just wanted to get
right,
out of that house. That's it. I was like, I just want to get out the house. I want to be able to take care of
yeah,
myself. Like that's it. I never in a million years would have thought that I would be living in a different country, or that I would be having international speaking engagements, or that I would have talk shows. Like I never saw that
right,
for myself, for my life. So the more that God
right,
continues to do, the more that I'm like, is greater than this. And on the other
right,
side of it, I can see why. Right. On the other side of it, I can say, oh, wow, I can see the impact. I can see that this was a testimony. I can see that this helped somebody think differently about themselves. I can
right.
see what I know about myself. I can see why my spirit was like, we gonna do this.
This
Like,
one. We want this.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Even though it's
All
hard
right.
going through it. She
I
like,
guess
I'm
so.
still not. Yeah, I'm not.
I
Mm-mm.
guess. I have my days. There's some days where it's like, okay, like this makes sense. I see it. I really got to figure out where I have to sit in order to not match this table.
To not
Um,
match the table?
yeah, because it's like that's not my real skin tone. Like,
Oh, you need your melanin to be
yeah,
popping. You might
I
just have to
do. I do.
get you a little portable ring light or something to put in
A
front, just so it can
separate
honor your
tone.
melanin. She want
Maybe
y'all.
that's
Kalanda has always wanted to be a chocolate goddess. Okay.
Tawanda has always been a dark
My
chocolate.
apologies. My apologies. My apologies. Let me strike that. Strike that. Okay, here we are. Kalanda is a
Oh,
chocolate goddess, and she dark chocolate goddess, and she
thank
has always regarded her melanin very highly. Okay, so
you.
she wants you all to be able to appreciate the
To see
richness
it in
of
its
the tones.
truest form. Yes. And right
I
now, this is
understand
not it. Not giving that, right? Oh, see, like there. Maybe if I sit right here, I'm gonna just be here. Nope, it moved. Anyway,
Why her face so close to the
oh,
camera? Oh, and hold on,
nice.
before you say what you was about to say, we had to make sure y'all know that we got earrings on,
Oh,
because in our
yeah.
family, you had to have earrings on, or else you were mistaken for a boy. So we wanted to make sure that, and mine are studs, and then hers, there you go. So we had to make sure
They
y'all
just
knew that too.
influence the
Okay.
hands. They are here.
Because we do have she, her pronouns, and it's
We
important
do.
that
We
that's
do.
understood. Okay, go ahead. What you was about to say?
Oh, Jesus, help us, Lord. But yes, there are days that I feel like I see the vision, I understand it's there, and then there are days where, sweet Jesus, I'm like,
What's
why,
happening? Yeah.
why is all of this? Um, but at least now I think I'm more open to to the process more. And I'm not fighting it as much. Is really what it is. It's like I have relinquished a great amount of control. Where
Mm-hmm.
before I definitely operated from a space of, let me see if I can predict the future. Let me see if I can look
Mm-hmm.
at all the 15 different possibilities, prepare for
Minimize the
each one.
damage. Yep.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can feel like, all right, if one of these things happens, I have a plan, you know? Well, now it's like, I don't have a plan. I don't even know why any of this is going this way, but I'm going to step out with it. I'm going to keep going and know that something's going to work out, and really still being in awe of the ways that he shows up,
Yeah.
and if that's with other people, additional support, just, I don't know, a multitude of scenarios and things that say like you're not doing this by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If there
Mm-hmm.
was no one here, you wouldn't have made it this far, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And trying to be grateful, where before, like we talked about love and friendship and the possession of people, like having to let that go. And that makes it a lot easier as people move in and out of your life for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
being thankful for that season that they were there and saying, you know what, maybe in my head I saw this as something that was going to be long term. I thought this was someone that was going to be here forever. When finding out that that's not the case, instead of having to go through a full 7-step grieving process, just
Right.
go, okay, you know,
Right.
that just
Right.
served its purpose for whatever it was. You learned that lesson in whatever that time period was, and now it's time to move on to the next one,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that ideally the right one, the one that's supposed to stay, the friend
Those
that's
things.
going to be around forever, whatever is going to happen. You've created that space for them to do so because maybe they both couldn't exist at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true.
just trying to be more mindful in that. I don't know, or blow smoke up my own ass, one or the other.
No,
I don't know.
I'm following you. I'm following you with it. And what I'm wondering when you say, because I know we talked about this before about the plans and having plans versus not. Do you feel like your Amazon warehouse is shifting, or are your brain people still active 24/7?
It's like I feel like we're on like a siesta. It's like we have a little, we're in a holding pattern, like
Okay.
production isn't up and running at 100%, but there isn't like a specific production goal that says, crank it out, let's go. Like, I'm not furiously running now,
Uh-huh.
because
Uh-huh.
it's like, maybe I'm not supposed to be applying to 20 jobs every day. Maybe I'm not supposed to be scouring the internet and everything for like people that are hiring. Maybe that's not where my attention should be. Maybe my attention is supposed to be on what brings me joy. What do I want to do? What am I good at? How do I, make that fit? What other things
Yes.
can I do
Yes.
that allow me to pay my bills and take care of
Yes.
myself, but don't take up the resources of my brain so that I
Yes.
can see what the next steps could be. So I'm
Yes.
trying to look at it that
Yes.
way now. Um, so it feels a lot less hurried, a lot less like pressure filled, um, and just kind of like, well, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen,
Yes.
like I can only do what I can do.
Yes.
Uh, So yeah, so the warehouse is a little quieter.
Okay.
But it is still strange because it's still like I'm supposed
I
to
feel
be
like I'm
doing
supposed to be
something.
doing
Like
something. Yep.
I'm supposed to be doing something, like
Yes.
yeah. It's like I was at a friend of mine's house yesterday, and they were like cleaning up and doing all this stuff, and I'm like, "You need help?" They're like, "No, no, just chill out. Like you're fine. Like I got it."
Yes.
And most uncomfortable thing ever. Like, because
Yes.
it's like, well, wait, if you're doing something, I need to be doing something too. Like, let me help you. Like, how can I? And they're like, no, just stop. Like, just stop. And like I never thought of that. And in
Yeah.
the past, friends have said, like you don't have to be doing anything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you just have to show up. Like you don't need to prove
Yeah.
your worthiness through
Oh
actions.
God. Yes.
Like that's not how I want to see you. Like I want to see you relaxed and enjoying yourself and having fun. And so it was cool and interesting all at the same point. So we shall
Yeah.
see. I may
Oh my
actually,
God.
again, side note, be going back to school. So I don't know. We're thinking about this.
Okay.
But
Okay.
for social work, this is like the
Okay.
third time that I've hit this button. Like third time.
No
So I'm like, well,
worries.
maybe there
I
is
just want
something
you to
to it.
follow. I want you to follow your spirit. Because I feel
I'm
like
still
you're
applying for the English teaching though too. But go ahead.
good because I had asked the guy, so I guess this is news, but also I don't know. They said that that company that I sent you, there was a company that they sent me to that they said that they're gonna hire me and I'm supposed to start next week.
Yeah.
I ain't got no paperwork, so it's
Yes.
not official yet, but unofficially I'm supposed to like be coaching. Let me tell you a little bit about it right quick, and then I'm gonna go back to what you was talking about. Um so is coaching English, right? So basically
Yeah.
talking to people that are Spanish is their first language. They speak some English, but they're trying to sound like a native Spanish speaker. So as we're talk about whatever we want to talk about,
Uh
and
huh.
I just correct their Spanish. So, for instance, like when
See.
I'm talking to Dr. Poppy and I say he says stomach, and I say stomach, or
Oh yeah.
answer is
Right.
one that they say a lot.
Right.
Answer, right?
Yeah.
So I just
Right.
correct that, and then if there's like a grammar lesson that needs to be taught in it, like
Uh
showing
huh.
them the grammar of it all, and then okay, so you were saying, I said, I just got to
Right.
talk to people. Oh,
I
what?
did
Gosh, this is
it.
made for me, right? But to
That
that,
is
to your
phenomenal.
point of the releasing, right? I feel like what you're
Mhm.
describing is the process of surrendering. And I
Right.
feel like that is something that we definitely have struggled with, because we're
Mhm.
taught, like you said, we have to do something, even in our family. I know in mine, I could speak for sure. If the sun was up, you was up doing something. Wasn't no sleeping
Right.
in, wasn't no relaxing, wasn't
Right.
none of that. You are being productive and you is doing
The entire
something
time.
all the
Right.
time, right? So we didn't
Yeah.
learn how to rest. And rest is something that you learn how to do. It's something that you have to teach yourself how to do because the system is not teaching you how to do it. So what I love about
Mhm.
hearing this is I remember when I had told you, I don't have no, I just be,
Yes.
Lord, lead me the way you have me go. And you was like, I
How?
don't, I don't know about
I
that,
don't know her. I don't know her.
right?
I told you that's when I talked to my barber and she was like, "Well, you don't ask how at the restaurant. Like if you ask for a steak medium with potatoes, you just wait
Wait
because
for
you
it to
know
come
they're
to
gonna
the
bring
table.
you your medium steak with potatoes." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Damn, that is such a
Yeah,
wonderful
you're
way
not
to put
going back
that."
there looking through the thing like, okay, how
Can
they
I help
cutting
you?
it?
You
Like,
need to cut up some onions. You want me to like make a garlic butter? They're like, go sit down. I'm gonna
yeah,
bring it to you. Like it's okay. It's because I definitely was struggling with like how do I let it go? Because after
yeah,
you said like, girl, I just say, Lord, don't make you a liar. Like the bills are due on the first. I'm gonna be on the porch, and I'm like, okay, one day when I grow up, I'm gonna reach this state of zen because I don't know how to do that. Like so, an active work in progress for that for sure.
yeah. But I love that it's a work in progress, right? Because that's the bravery I feel like of it all. And that's why I said it sounds like the process of surrendering and the process, like
Mm-hmm.
faith goes from level to level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we say we have faith, and then
We say
we be trying to
right.
help. And God is
We be
like,
doing it.
I got this. And but then the thing that God told us to do, we don't be doing that, right? So what you said was,
Right.
I feel like right now, and I'm laughing because this is the same thing my psychologist said to me. You were like, I feel like right now I'm supposed to be finding out what brings me joy and what actually makes me happy and what I'm good at and blah blah blah, right? That ain't the first time you've heard that. That is not the first time
Right.
you've heard. right?
Right.
But
Right.
because of the I gotta be doing something and I'm used to it looking like this and relying on my own strength and my own power and not letting God
Right.
be God, right? Now I got my hands and stuff and I'm fucking up. Be honest with you, I'm fucking up. And God is
Yeah.
like, hey, get out the kitchen.
Cut it out.
Get
Cut
out
it
the
out.
kitchen and go do what I told you to do. I told you to go sit on this here balcony and go blow some bubbles. I told you to go take a walk through the park. I told you to go hug a
Right.
tree. I told you to get some
Yeah.
plants. I told you to lose yourself in preparing different meals. I told you to do that, but
Right.
you over here doing what I'm trying to do. Go sit
You over here
down
on
somewhere.
Indeed.
On Indeed,
Right.
just applying the stuff. I done told you that I got it, right? So that's the conversation I be having with myself. And that's where I got to the point where I just be like, hey, you told me to do this.
Right.
I'm gonna go do what you told me to do. I'm about to go sit on my
Right.
balcony. I'm about to go kick my feet up. I had some friends that came in town this week, and
Mm.
I've had two friends come in town. I've had a friend come in town 2 weeks ago, and then I had two friends come in town
Uh,
this past week. And one, it was so amazing to be with people who know me already,
mm.
because I don't feel like I have to go through this explaining justification, blah, 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 right? But
Right.
also, these friends that just left, I don't know if you can see back here on this counter, that greenery back
Uh.
there. That's a whole bunch of fruit
Yes.
and stuff. Hey,
Oh.
Angel was here, and she is a pharmacist by trade. But when I tell you this girl is
Okay.
a vegan chef, I told her she's an international vegan chef. I said, put it on because you've been in here private chefing in Colombia. And I need you to put it on your
Ah.
Instagram page, ma'am, that you are an international vegan
Yes.
chef. Kalanda, when I tell you I've been eating, Kalanda, the other day I ate 4 times in one
Well, look at
day.
you.
Kalanda, I ate breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. It was all vegan. It was so good. I'm talking what we had for breakfast. We had like a breakfast scramble. So it was like mushrooms, black beans, onions, peppers, potatoes, avocados, salsa, jalapenos. That was breakfast. Lunch was black bean and plantain quesadillas. Okay.
Oh.
Dinner was curried chickpeas and rice, and dessert was a banana and Nutella crepe situation
Uh
with
huh.
baby.
Girl.
I was eating. Do you hear me? And what it said to me was, God will send people to you
Right.
to help you do what it is that you're supposed to do, right?
Right.
They not only that, they bought me grits, they bought me
Oh.
seasonings. They bought
Girl.
me some Tabitha Brown hair products. They bought me some honey pie hair products. Like, and
Yes.
then they were like, tell us what you need. Like, tell, but for me, that's such a hard question
Oh, I
because
know.
I just be like, I'm gonna figure it out. But
Yeah.
they were like, we want to be able to support you. Tell us what you make a list. We want to
Right.
be able to do what we can and for it to be meaningful and for it to be something that is going to matter. Even my rent this month, I was like, how am I about to pay my rent? Because I did a lot of work, but then I got an email and they tell me that I'm not going to get paid out for the invoice until the end of the month, to the
Oh,
end of this. Hey, I got bills, right? I'm
bills are due
talking to
now.
my I'm talking to my best friend, and I was like, "Can I borrow and then I'll pay you back?" She said, "I already budgeted some money. It's in your account."
Mm.
Oh God. Like God will show up, but I think we have to do what he told us to do. Our part is the
Right.
part that you said. What brings me joy? What does what makes my spirit feel at peace and makes my spirit feel happy? What are the things that I'm naturally gifted at? What are the
Right.
things that God has told me to do to feed into me so I can be in the state of mind that I need to be in so that he can open this door? Because it's a door.
Right.
It's definitely a
Yeah.
door waiting. right? So he can open this door and I can walk through it because I've been doing the preparation already, as
Right.
opposed to being in his lane trying to
Mhm.
find the doors. He already got the door.
Right.
He already got the door. But we out here building, we constructing doors.
Whole
We out
house.
here, okay, and we're not a construction. We
At
ain't no
all.
carpenter, okay, like Jesus. Okay. We ain't
Amen. Jesus was
just out here measuring wrong. Okay.
all of it. All of
It's just all rigged up. And God is like, hey, remember when I had told you that and I was like, go find out. I still need you to go do that
it.
because
Yeah.
now you over here doing that. I told you to go do
You in
that.
the way.
Yeah.
See, I
Get
be
out.
leaning on the part where he's already factored in the fact that I'm a fuck up. So
Mm.
so I'm like, oh well, if that's a part of the plan, he already knew I was gonna do this. So
And also
it'd be
though,
fine.
but also he's like, and also go sit down.
He's like, "Hey, you go sit down. You have to be ready for what I am trying to
Yes.
give you. And if
That,
you don't do this, you won't be able to get what I have for you. So like
that,
it's like constant course correct, constant course correct.
yes.
Like
Yes.
stop it. Like that's not yours. Don't fix that. Like
Yes.
I'm trying. I'm I'm
Okay.
I'm getting close to getting tired of saying I'm trying.
Yes.
So it's
That's
like
all right. It's a process. I want you to give yourself grace and space in your process because we're all in the process. You know what I mean? Like, and I still have to remind myself of that stuff. Like, I'm
yeah,
I'm talking to you and I'm talking to us and all of that, and I'm also talking to me because I be doing this too.
right,
So I feel like the growth is in recognizing it and making the shift quickly as opposed to staying
right,
there. Like we get quicker at it. I don't think we ever stop,
right.
honestly. I don't think we ever stop being like, you don't need no help. No, you got it.
You need
All
something?
right. You
Well, I
need
just
some water.
over here.
I
I'm
just
gonna
wiped
just
this
do
counter
this.
for you, right quick. Yeah,
Exactly. I'm gonna
go
do
sit
this.
down. Go sit
Let
down.
me let me feel like I did
I'm
something.
doing something. And that's the thing. The something I'm supposed to be doing is out here on this balcony, is out there on that
Right,
deck. Let me
right,
go. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. So maybe that's
right.
how we can hold ourselves accountable to this is being like making sure that when we feel that urge to like be doing something, that we
That is
center
the right.
ourselves and go back to what did God tell me to do? What brings me joy? Let's
Right.
let that be the question of
Hmm.
the next 2 weeks. What
Okay.
genuinely brings me joy?
Hmm.
What genuinely brings me joy? And I believe that those things will be presented and placed in front of us, things that maybe we had even forgotten about.
Right.
Maybe things from it could have been stuff that we used to do in childhood and put it away
Hmm.
because we put away childish things.
Childish.
Meanwhile, I need to go to the park and jump off a swing or something, but from a
Right.
low level, from low, because these
Yeah,
knees
not too
hurts.
high. Not too high. We don't bounce no more.
Okay,
Those bones break. Like,
baby. Have you ever broken a bone?
no, thank you, Jesus. Oh my
Me
God.
neither. Me neither.
Oh.
Thank God. Oh my
Mm,
goodness.
mm, mm.
So yeah, this is the last thing I want to tell you before we get ready to wrap up. When you were talking about multitasking, my
Uh-huh.
psychologist had me try something called the Pomodoro method. Have you heard of it
Uh-huh.
before?
Uh-uh. Oh,
So
no.
basically, she said it's something that she recommends to people with time management. But basically, what it is you work in like 25-minute chunks. So you do work for 25 minutes, and then you take a 10 to 15 minute break to do something different. So
Uh,
how that would look for me is I say, for instance, I'm in the process of trying to clear out emails. I had kind of a
okay.
little bit had locked myself out of one of my email accounts because it's way over storage. So if y'all been trying to email me,
You didn't.
I gotta delete some things
I never
before they
got
come in. Because as I've been
it.
deleting things, more things have been coming in. I guess they're
Yeah.
kind of in like purgatory. But
Uh,
anyway, I've been trying to work on that of clearing out my inbox and like organizing myself and stuff. So what I'll do is I'll set a
right.
timer to do it for 25 minutes. And then after that 25-minute timer goes off, I set a timer for 15 minutes. In that time, I might eat. I might
Right.
put a load of laundry on. I
Uh,
might water the plants, right? Then that timer goes off. I sit down, next task, 25 minutes. I focus on that for 25 minutes. And then 10 to 15 minutes, I go do something else. And what it has done is it's made me not, because I have gotten into the habit of continuing to check email constantly, it's made me
uh-huh.
feel like it's not so much time, that if something was time sensitive, that within
Mhm.
25 minutes or that 10-15 minute break, I can still get to it.
You can still
Like
get
it's,
to it. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like it's been days. Like I can
Right.
say, now I'm going to check this particular email. I'm only going to do that for 25 minutes and then I'll be done with that. But it gives me the opportunity to not feel so far behind. So I've been
Right.
working on doing that, because the multitasking and trying to, I be chasing squirrels like a dog, like Sarah out here. I
Oh shit.
be,
Hold on.
uh-oh, she done left the baby outside, y'all. Oh God, go get the baby. Sarah out there homeless. She like, my mama don't love me no more.
Oh
She
my god.
she
She's
clinking a
just standing
can
at
on the
the
dang fence. She like, I'm just out here fighting for my life. What was she doing?
luckily just standing on the stairs, bless her heart.
Oh,
And
she
she
was just on the
literally
stairs.
just standing there waiting because she barked earlier. It's just like a little like, hey, I'm finished, whatever I went out here to
Yeah,
do. And
yeah.
I ignored her. And then she
So I
never
said,
made
I'ma
another
just be here. She
sound.
said, my mama gonna come. She gonna come. I know she is. She'll be back.
Oh my lord. See, and that's why I don't have children.
Because also, I do believe that the way my absent-mindedness work, I'm forgetting somebody at school, a daycare.
Oh, at
Somebody is getting forgot
somewhere,
somewhere.
anywhere. Girl.
Somebody, I done left the grocery store. The child was in the bathroom. I'm not,
Oh,
yeah, that ain't my ministry. That ain't my ministry. But
that's
yeah,
funny.
so the Pomodoro system is something you may want
Yeah,
to look
yeah.
into as
A
well.
25 minutes, 15 minute break.
Yep. 25 minutes on, 15 minutes off. And you just kind of keep doing that. And then I know we had talked about like using songs and playlists and all
Oh,
that kind of
uh-huh.
stuff, but that's another method that she gave me. And it's been working
Okay.
out pretty well so far. So
Good.
when I do it and when I do it with fidelity, I feel very, very productive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I
Yeah.
like that one.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So,
We
any
did it.
closing thoughts? I know we kind of talked about Amanda Seales, but not really.
Not really.
But kind of a little. Did you have, like, I know it was a lot. I know it was a lot to unpack. We could also do like a bonus episode and talk about it too, because I know it's a lot
Yeah,
and I don't want to just try to like throw it in.
crammed it into like
Um,
2 seconds.
right. So maybe we'll do that. We'll do a bonus episode,
Yeah.
talk about Amanda Seales and all of that. Anything else that you wanted to throw out, add, bubbling around in your spirit?
Bubbling around my spirit. No, I feel good. I think we covered a lot of it. I'm just, trying to stay the course, be relaxed, be open,
It
and
was
let
the
it ride.
face.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I'm gonna try to take a page out of your book and go outside and frolic today. Get a little
Yay!
sun
Where you
and
going? To
see
the
what
Jazz
happens.
Fest?
I don't know. No, I know I'm gonna probably go to the cigar bar tonight.
Okay.
But during the day, I'm gonna just try to find somewhere to go get some, I don't know, nachos or something.
Yeah. Ooh, that sounds good. Because
I
it's
know.
because
I
it's
had some really
because
good
it's
ones
Cinco de
yesterday.
Mayo.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the plan. That's the plan. At least get some sun. See what
I love
happens.
this. I love this for
Mm-hmm.
you. Yeah,
Oh,
I
thank
think I need to
you.
do me a Mexican recipe today.
That would be good. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I miss Mexican food. I miss real Mexican food.
Who you
Like I had some
telling?
really good nachos yesterday, but like just the cilantro and the onions and like Give me all that. And we just don't have that here. But there is randomly this restaurant here called the Jerk House. Great oxtails,
Mm,
great Jamaican food, but they have this salmon taco. And when I tell you, girl,
that
and
sounds
it's like
delicious.
a big piece of salmon. Like
Mm,
it, yeah, like it, from the Jamaican restaurant. Delicious.
mm,
Maybe
that
I might get that
sounds
today, actually.
phenomenal.
It is amazing. Jerk
Yeah.
house. But they have their oxtails are really good too. And their jerk chicken.
Yes,
Mhm.
honey. Eat the things. So yeah, I'm trying to the friend that I was telling you about, Angel, the international vegan chef. I'm
uh
trying to get her to do a cookbook, but maybe,
Oh, nice.
maybe what I could do is because we've talked about this before too, like doing because
Hmm.
Angel be saying that she don't know how to measure, like she don't want to have to measure things. She
Oh,
just want to
yeah.
let the spirit guide.
Just
But I
like put
feel like we
some.
work the
Yeah.
same way. We don't be measuring
Correct.
stuff. You just
Right.
put some. You know what I
And
mean?
even if you have a recipe, you still wind up like when have you ever put one clove of garlic in anything? If it
Who
asks for
does
one
that?
clove of garlic, you're getting a head of garlic. Like you're gonna get the whole
Period.
bowl. I'm sorry. Like
Period.
there's garlic and I want it.
That's it. That's
So
it. So
she
this
can
is
put
what I
whatever
think we can
measurement she
do.
wanted.
This is what I think we can do. Maybe we can have a so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese cookbook, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we get her to contribute some
With the
recipes
vegan
too.
options. Mm, I like it.
Because when I be hungry, I be eating. And I was eating this
Dysfunction.
past
Yeah.
baby, I was eating, okay? So that's gonna be our plan. We're gonna work on that,
Okay.
okay? And
Work
then
on that.
y'all
Our
who's
cooking.
listening, if y'all also feel like y'all have good recipes that you would want to contribute,
Send them in.
then y'all could reach out and y'all could tell us what they are. So you can email mindingmyblack@gmail.com, okay, and submit your recipes. And if you don't have seasonings, it's not really, I'm sorry, if you don't have measurements, it's not so much about the measurements as it is about the ingredients,
Right.
unless for real it's like, 1 can
Something's
of
gonna throw
coconut
off.
milk or something like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
other than
But if it's
that,
like if
like
it's like a half a teaspoon of black pepper, like
some
don't worry
pepper,
about that.
put some
The
pepper.
the ancestors will tell you when to stop.
That that's what I think we should do. That's what I think we should
I
do.
like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Okay. That awesome.
That's it.
All right, y'all. So at some point, we're gonna record a bonus episode and talk about Amanda Seals and the Club Shay Shay interview because we was messaging each other back and forth like I had to
What is
I had
life?
to
I
I had to get myself together
had to
because it
take
was
a
a lot.
break. I had to take a break in it. I
Facts.
was
Same.
like, I'm gonna
Same.
come back.
Same.
I'm gonna come back.
Same. Same. Absolutely has to take a break. So we're gonna figure out when that is, what that looks like, because it is a very, very, very important conversation. And I
Mhm.
think it goes beyond like this is what's popular at the time. I think it's going to be a relevant conversation. So we will figure out when to do that. We are here every 2 weeks, okay, pending life events that might get in the way, but we're gonna do a better job of if that happens to try to
Yes.
plan accordingly and keep y'all up to date. If you are looking for more content, please do join the Patreon, patreon.com/slash minding my black ass business. That is where you are able to see these podcasts so you don't put syrup on your grilled cheese, as well as hella other content that's going on in my world. So minding my black ass business is pretty much where you can find me and all the things. Kalanda, where do people can find you at?
Right here at the house.
I love when she
At
says
the
that.
house.
It makes me so happy. So Kalanda be at home, okay? And every so often I pull her into this world to come hang out with me. But y'all, the conversation doesn't stop here. Please continue sharing and commenting and telling people about this. This is the place where we have the conversations that you may have been wanting to have, but didn't have nobody to have it with. So we invite you to have them
There you
here
go.
with us. All right. So we'll be
There
back
you
in 2
go.
weeks, y'all. And until then, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.